found that if he put a dot where every point of cholera contamination was along England, and then he tracked it to the point where it was all clustering on a single well. He took the handle out of the well and cured the cholera epidemic in that season. So this is all enabled by being able to track and map and locate points of infection and points of inflammation in a real-time basis, or in a quick and in an efficient manner, so that you can halt the spread of contamination. Currently, all the epidemiology stuff is sort of monitored and tracked by the government in a very slow-moving scale. There's not an easy access to this type of information, and it's probably because you have to report to the doctor, and the doctor has to report to the local county, and it sort of trickles up all the way up into the various CDC level databases that it goes into. But there's no reason it necessarily has to live with the government per se. I mean, if there was an open sort of API for this, where you could just sort of live in a accessible open source framework where anyone can sort of access and contribute and all this kind of stuff, we can very rapidly explore and track disease progression as people are getting diagnosed, and see where the areas of risk are, and bring news information to those spaces so they know how to properly deal with it, mitigate the contamination and stuff like this. And as far as I know, something like this doesn't really exist, and I'd like to explore the possibility of this. So it sort of builds on the WELL project. But if you're curious, I'll be in the corner over here.
Great. So just a couple things, analysis on that. So if you have experience with Google Maps or any of the other mapping services, if you have experience with back-end services, potentially building an API or maybe a front-end, definitely come see Paul.
Well, as mentioned before, I'm kind of a low-level guy, so I'm kind of looking at the amateur radio applications. I don't know how familiar people are with amateur radio, but basically allows people with a license to radio applications and communication. Some of these can be rather far-reaching. The HF band can get huge, miles, thousands of kilometers of propagation. So great communication possibilities there. I'm kind of interested in doing anything that deals with that and kind of builds on top of that. There were two you can search amateur radio-based problems, so kind of looking at I'll be in supporting there.
As I mentioned before, I'm representing the Coalition of the Willing. Our project is a little bit broader in scope, but basically it's utilizing the same usages and applications that most of these other projects encompass, but it's creating one central hub for all of these projects to be housed in. I have some more information if you want to come and see me. I'll be sitting right here. Also, if you want to check it out, it's on the RHOK website.
Hi. So, as I mentioned earlier, one of the problems on the RHOK website was moving food, and it's like there are frequently scenarios in which you have a lot more food than you can actually use. Like certain companies can't sell bread that's more than a day old, or if you have a catered event, sometimes they over budget it. And it's a shame that most of this food ends up in the dumpster. And so it seems like it'd be cool if there's sites or like Airbnb where you could go on and say like, this wedding I just catered just ended, we have a ton of extra stuff, can someone come by and give it to someone who will actually eat it instead of just throwing it in the trash. So that's my idea. I am sort of front end. I have experience with App Engine and with Google Web Toolkit, so I can handle both of that, but I'm not good with CSS, or someone's really good at HCI. All of your ideas sound cool too, with the dumb phone thing for the person finder. So I might want to work on that.
Hi, so I'm Kevin, and I'm interested in making a dumb phone interface for Google Person Finder. I kind of just thought of this during the presentation, so I don't have it all researched yet, but there's a pretty cool technology called Twilio that allows you to get a phone number and then basically program, write some code in Python or PHP. They have a couple different languages they support, and whenever someone calls that phone number, your code will execute, and you have access to like that phone number that they called you with. Same thing with text messages. You get the phone number, you get their input, and I feel like it wouldn't be too difficult to turn that into input for Google Person Finder, so people without smartphones or computers could add data entries into Google Person Finder. So if that sounds kind of cool, come find me. Let's chat about it. I'm not sure if something already exists, but I didn't see anything when I just ran a quick Google search.
Mahalia. As I mentioned earlier, I was really interested in that One World sort of application, which I think would be more website-based, and it was just trying to link people that had skills and wanted to help with actually organizations that did help. And I think a real cool thing about this is problems being defined by somebody at the CDC who does do this. So it looked like it could be implemented and really happen. I only have experience in the back end, so I really need sighted people who would know a lot about web page development.
I studied Java, but again, I'm no expert at it. So I found a project building a mobile app, and I really wanted to build an Android app they want to build a warning app for severe weather conditions like Japan tsunami or the Missouri hurricane tornado, and be really helpful. So it's not really my project, I just found it, and I loved it because they're doing what I want to do. So if anybody is good at Java and can take the architect role and lead the project, I'll be really appreciated. But again, I'm this close to joining one of these other teams.
I'll be over with Kevin talking about dumb phones on Google Person Finder. One thing I'd add to what he said was SMS is a great interface. Voice could also be something worth exploring. So a few other APIs that would apply to that.
Hi, I'm Nari. The project I was interested on was mapping needs and responses to crises. So basically, I'm looking at some kind of UI where people can, in crises, put some kind of UI on what they need. So people can give them what they need and track what's required easily. I'm more interested in the data visualization part. My skills are on the front end, JavaScript, CSS, HTML. I have done some work with Python and App Engine, but that's not something I'd like to do. So I'd like to just put my hand out for any Python engineers or graphic designers who want to join me.
You're Lin again. So as I mentioned, I have a kind of distributed an offline social network that's connecting refugees in Chad with actually a bunch of US schools who are raising funds for them. So the idea is that it's designed for people with not much technical expertise, very simplified, and they're able to do everything you would expect out of, say, an app like Facebook, but over offline, on and off connectivity. So there's a bunch of stuff to be done on that. Anyone is interested, please look me up. Otherwise, I may probably go hang out with the food guy, because I think that's a really interesting problem. I mean, I think we all have been to tons of events, conferences, where at the end of the day, there's tons of food there, and actually what happens, it gets all thrown away. So I think that's a really very good point.
Hi, my name is Eva again. I think they are great ideas, but what I saw is like lately we are talking about earthquakes, Vizquero, Chile, and Japan, but something that we forgot about volcanoes. And I know that there is we can trace the volcano through earthquakes. So if we have that, I saw that if we have the data already about earthquakes around the world every minute or every hour, then we also can see what are the volcanoes that are active in the world, and in some way connect that information and create maybe like a database or website where we can have that information just in case an explosion is coming soon. We will have information there. So my steps will be one, have a really passionate people about let's research, brainstorm, and then start developing the site, and hopefully by tomorrow we can have a draft of how the site will look like and information there that we found through our research.
This is Binit again. So you heard us talking about the virtual command center and integration of Sahana and Disinventor. So we will be right here, and if you can help us out to create a virtual command center or integrate, you can talk. But one thing I just want to say, I may have scared you not to visit Kathmandu, but please visit. This year, 2011, is Visit Nepal tourism year. So don't forget to go there. It's an awesome place.
All right, great. So you guys have now heard a whole bunch of the different projects that people are going to be working on, the ones that we're trying to spotlight and get people rallying around. If you didn't hear one of these projects that you're actually interested in, please come see me. Please visit the website and look